Hello, everyone. Thanks very much for joining me today. I'm here to present Amex Exploration. Amex is a high-grade exploration company. We've made a number of significant discoveries in the province of Quebec, and I'm going to walk you through a few of them right now. Please be mindful of any forward-looking statements that I will make. We've got a really nice structure at Amex. There's 80 million shares outstanding. On this, it shows $23 million of cash in the bank. However, just a few days ago, we closed a private placement of $12 million. So our total in hand is around $39 million due to the exercise of warrants. In addition, the warrants that are remaining on the books are deep in the money and will bring in approximately $15 million Canadian. So we're very well funded for the future. We've got a very nice shareholder registry. Eric Sprott being the biggest shareholder, around 15%. Management is well vested in this company, holding around 13% of the issued shares, and other institutions hold about 40% of the overall holdings. As you can see on our stock chart here, we've had a significant increase in our share price from about $1 last year at this time, currently trading around $3.40. Market cap around $275 million Canadian. Our team here is really well-rounded. Our president is Victor Cantore. He's been involved in capital markets for over 20 years, has built, financed, and structured a number of successful companies. Our chairman, Jacques Trottier, is a PhD geologist, previously the founder of Sullivan Exploration, which was built from an artisanal mine up to over 3 million ounces of gold and eventually sold in 2014 for over $600 million Canadian. Our COO and director, Pierre Carrier, has built a number of TSX companies throughout his career. Our CFO, Martin Nicoletti, has been the CFO for a number of junior exploration companies throughout his career. Myself, Kelly Malcom, Vice President Exploration, previously with Detour Gold, where I was involved in the discovery of the high-grade 58 North gold deposit, and have been involved in the junior sector as well for a number of years. Brian Coates, a newly appointed independent director, past president of Osisko Gold Royalties, past CFO of Osisko Mining, where they built the Canadian Malartic mine, and Nick Gendron, a securities lawyer in Montreal, has been previously on the board of Bonterra Resources. Yvon Gelina is an accountant based in Montreal, where he runs an accounting firm. And Andre Charek is a real estate entrepreneur based in Montreal as well. So we've got a really well-rounded group of technical individuals, as well as a really strong independent board of directors. We're focused on Quebec. For those that don't know, Quebec is a wonderful place to explore. As an example, in 2019, we spent $6 million in hard dollars in exploration. At the beginning of this year, we received a check back from the government in the form of a tax credit for $1.6 million cash. Focused on the PERRON project, proximal to the town of Normetal, highway accessible from Toronto in about 7 hours by car. We're basically in the center of the Abitibi Greenstone Belt. As you can see, we're in the middle there along the Shakobee Deformation Zone. Very inexpensive exploration here. We're about $150 all in per meter Canadian versus the norm in Canada of around $300 to $350, and most of that is owing to infrastructure. We have very low housing costs. A lot of our drillers drive home at night. We have this humongous core facility that we bought last year. It's 7,000 square feet, and conveniently, we actually announced recently the upsize of our drilling program to 10 drills. We can easily handle that size of a program within the existing infrastructure. And as an aside, the 10 drill, 300,000 meter drilling program that we have operating is one of the biggest drilling programs being run by a junior company in all of Canada. And now on to the geology. So we're focused on the yellow wedge in the center of the screen there. We've outlined 4 different significant zones of mineralization, that being the Gratienne Gold Zone on the west, the Grey Cat Zone to the north, the Central Polymetallic Zone to the south, and the Eastern Gold Zone to the east. And what I'll do is I'll walk you through 3 of those different zones, and you'll sort of get a sense of how large scale this property is. This is what we call the PERRON Gold Corridor. It's basically a 3-kilometer long, tested down to 1.2 kilometers depth, and about 150 meters north-south, whereby every single drill hole that we stick within this corridor returns anomalous to ore grade mineralization. And one of our objectives as part of this 300,000 meter drilling program is to start testing in between those individual lenses of mineralization and see if we can build up a very sizable, very highly leveraged to gold, open pitable bulk tonnage type deposit, as well as continuing to define the underground type systems that has generated such significant returns for Amex shareholders. We are now looking at the Eastern Gold Zone, which is the most easterly of our three major discoveries, and has really been the reason that our stock has done so well over the past 2 years. It's basically comprised of two different zones of mineralization. We have our high-grade zone to the north, and then about 100 meters to the south, we have the Denise zone. The high-grade zone is very linear, very high-grade, and extends down to a depth of now about 1.1 or 1.2 kilometers vertically. Denise zone, big, broad, lower grade, starts right at surface, very much an open pitable target, but we've also drilled this one down to depth with quite significant results. Looking at our high-grade zone, which is the more northerly of the two, we've basically defined this down to over a kilometer, very consistent, very high-grade mineralization. As you can see here in the upper portion, we've defined it at roughly 25 meter spacings. On the depth portion, on the left-hand side of that screen, we've essentially started aggressively drilling this off to depth, and we're doing large step outs, and we'll backfill that with some infill drilling later on this year. Some of the results here are spectacular: 15 grams over 7 meters, 11 over 10, 44 over 9, 56 over 8.5, 24 over 5.85. And if you take a look at our news releases over the past 2 years, you'll see how consistent these high-grade results are, spread throughout that 1 kilometer of vertical continuity. This is the Denise zone. So as I mentioned, Denise zone is to the south of the high-grade zone. Denise is broad, it's large, comprised of several lenses of higher grade mineralization with some broad, widespread, diffuse mineralization outside of those higher grade lenses. We've defined this from surface down to a depth of at least 600 meters, and we expect that to continue going down to depth as well as along strike. We've done some metallurgy on the Eastern Gold Zone with fantastic results, better than 99% gold and silver recoveries. The head grades you can see here, 27 grams drilled over 11.8 meters, 12.7 grams drilled over 16.6 meters, 5.65 grams drilled over 10.6 meters in our 3 metallurgical holes, and each of them returned better than 99% using a gravity flotation cyanide circuit. And we are currently doing some testing, cutting out that flotation circuit and seeing how our recoveries work with a simple gravity cyanide flow sheet. Gratienne Gold Zone, further to the west, was found in the mid-1990s. After the discovery of the Eastern Gold Zone, we reinterpreted all of that drilling on the Gratienne system. I identified the potential for high-grade gold. Some of the numbers we drilled here were quite spectacular: 1.5 meters of 67, 4.25 of 16, 4.9 of 27, and 4.95 of 47 grams per ton gold. This is roughly a kilometer-long system. Our objective here is to define an open pit type resource down to about 250 meters. And then, as we've done on the left-hand side of this map, start testing for additional chutes at depth that could be mined in an underground mining capacity. We've also got the Grey Cat Gold Zone. This was discovered in July of last year. It's broad, widespread, starts right at surface. Again, some of the numbers here: 34 meters of 1.89, 26.9 of 3.4, 28 of 1.2, 6.5 of 9, and 2.7 meters of 23.9 grams per ton. And again, looking at a long section, basically starts right at surface. We've defined it at roughly 25 to 35 meter centers, down to about the 300 meter level. Objective here: expand along strike and start testing for high-grade chutes going down to depth. In addition, we've got a large property package, as you can see represented by the white squares on the screen. We've really only explored a very small portion of this project. Significant upside for additional discoveries along strike and also further to the north along the second thrust fault that has not really been explored to date. So we've allocated 20,000 meters out of our 300,000 meter program solely to regional exploration, and we're very excited and quite confident in our targeting capabilities on the property. And then in summary, 100% owned land package in wonderful mining-friendly Quebec, Canada, 15 kilometers of prospective strike, of which really only 3.5 kilometers have been effectively explored. Opportunity for both orogenic gold, which we've discovered to date, and also gold-rich polymetallic VMS systems, similar to the past-producing VMS mine that's about 10 kilometers to our southeast. Our objective here, as part of this 300,000 meter drilling campaign, is to define a maiden resource on the property, and we plan to put that out or initiate it in Q3 to Q4 of 2021. We've got a team that has found, financed, sold, and developed mines in the past. Very tight structure, well capitalized with $39 million Canadian in the bank. Eric Sprott has been our biggest strategic shareholder and supporter, and we've got, it says here, $21 million. It's more like a $31 million exploration program underway with the objective of defining that resource by the end of next year. Thanks so much for listening, everyone. I wish you all